For me,
We are going to talk about the economy first.
we sure are. We got the new consumer index rising 4.2 annually in May, which was the highest that we've seen in 3 years. So what does that mean? How does that affect all of us? We have our next guest that is going to break it all down for us. We have Matt Schulz joining us this morning. Matt,
Hi,
good
Matt.
morning.
Hi there. How are y'all doing?
We're doing great. Matt, I guess we just mentioned that those numbers coming out, 4.2. So what exactly does that mean?
What it means is what a lot of people have suspected, which is that prices just keep on rising. And it's certainly not a uniform thing. The rising prices of gas, for example, that everybody has seen over the last couple of months is driving a lot of it. And when gas prices rise, it forces the cost of a lot of other things to rise as well. But we are certainly seeing that inflation is hitting harder today than it was 6 months or a year ago, and that's a tough thing.
Okay, so gas prices, we've been attributing the rise of those gas prices to the war in Iran. But can you blame all of these numbers, all this inflation on the war, or what else is contributing to this?
No, there's even as impactful as the war in Iran is, there's never just one factor. And the truth is that things like groceries, for example, you have supply issues. I think a lot of people have seen that the price of beef and ground beef and steak and stuff like that have risen like crazy in recent years, and some of that is about the supply and how many cattle there are in America. So there are a million different factors that go into these costs, which makes it really frustrating for people.
So when we see the headline, though, because I just Googled inflation report, every single report says the highest we've seen in 3 years, the highest in the high 3-year high. So when we talk about this, I guess long term, how does this work? Is this kind of something that ebbs and flows? Is this going to come down, or is this a bigger indicator of the economy?
Well, it certainly ebbs and flows, and it is certainly impacted by events all over the place of all kinds, as we talked about, whether it's what's going on in Iran, or whether it's things like the bird flu that we had a few years back,
Sure.
or lots of other different things. So it can be really challenging to see kind of what is happening next. But really, ultimately, for consumers, probably the smartest thing they can do is to just plan for the worst and hope for the best by building in some assumptions into their budget that prices are going to continue to rise. That way you're ready if they do, and if they don't, then you've got a pleasant surprise.
I'm not trying to be political, but when you Google inflation, there's a article, USA Today, where President Trump is saying, "I love the inflation." And I'm trying to pull up a little bit more, but that's what he told reporters in a press conference. Why would someone love the inflation? And, what benefit, if any, would that serve anyone?
That's a tough thing to answer. But the reality is, for consumers, that it's making things really tough. And honestly, it's not just for consumers, it's for businesses as well, because businesses have to pay for things in order to produce stuff. So when you have inflation, it's not just consumers that are paying the price, it's businesses as well. And while that may create some opportunity for businesses to potentially add a little bit of profit margin on top of those increases that they're already seeing, generally higher costs don't necessarily serve anybody very well.
And I hate to put you, oops, wrong button, I apologize. I hate to put you on the spot like this. You obviously don't have a crystal ball, but if you were to look into the future, I mean, obviously there's some big mitigating factors, obviously the war in Iran being one of those, but what do you think we're going to be looking like in the next year, 2 years down the road?
Boy, a year or 2 years down the road is practically impossible to know. I mean, it's hard enough to know what's coming a few months from
Sure.
now. But again, I would say that the best thing that people can do is to build in assumptions that things are going to get worse, that prices are going to go higher. And that way you are prepared in case they do, and happy if they don't.
Sure.
Beyond that, it's really hard to predict. But one of the positives in this is that we may end up seeing one of the positive things for people is that the fact that rates are staying similar or may even be hiked by the Fed before too long is that there's an opportunity to increase your savings in a high yield savings account, which are still at pretty high levels. And that's an opportunity for people to take advantage of these high rates and help themselves in the future.
Gotcha.
You wrote a book that says Ask Questions, Save Money, Make More, How to Take Control of Your Financial Life. How do people get a hold of you? How do they get more information about that?
Yeah, you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter at asksaveearn.com, which has similar themes to my book, which is basically control what you can control and don't be afraid to ask questions that can help you. And you can also find me in a lot of work that I do and a lot of good consumer information at LendingTree.com.
Right.
Thank you. Awesome.
Matt, wealth and knowledge. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
Okay.